Oh my God, bro. Oh my God. Ah! Ah! Crazy, dog. Crazy, dog. I'm sick. I'm sorry. Ah! I'm sorry. Ah! Ah! It's crazy, dog.
That was Nathan Rashad James on Livestream shortly after he brutally murdered his girlfriend, 26-year-old Marietta Matthews, and her mother, 55-year-old Tamiko Merriweather. Their bullet-ridden bodies were just some meters away when he recorded that video, and he didn't mind showing the horrific scene to thousands of viewers from all over the world. Once he ended the livestream, Nathan turned the gun on himself. As shocking as this case is, the motive behind it will send cold shivers down your spine. Marietta Matthews was born on June 6, 1994, in Dallas, Texas, to Tamiko Merriweather and Michael Matthews. Right from the moment she took her first breath, Marietta stood out. She wasn't just beautiful, she was smart, ambitious, and full of life. She had this infectious smile that could light up any room, and her love for music, dancing, and fashion made her the kind of person everyone wanted to be around. You see, Marietta excelled at everything she did. At Skyline High School, she wasn't just another student, she was a star. She managed to balance her academics, extracurricular activities, and her social life effortlessly. So it was no surprise when she graduated in 2012 with multiple awards and scholarships. But Marietta didn't even stop there. She attended the University of North Texas, where she majored in business administration, a degree that aligned perfectly with her dream of starting her own fashion line. But Marietta wasn't just about academics and business. She also had a talent for hairstyling, something she was really passionate about. She loved creating beautiful hairstyles for her clients and would post videos of her work on social media. By 2016, Marietta had graduated with honors, ready to conquer the world. She had a vision to combine her love for fashion and business into a thriving brand that would make her an entrepreneur. But beyond her professional dreams, Marietta had a soft, kind heart. She was the type of person who always put others first, whether it was her family, friends, or strangers in need. But Marietta's warmth and kindness didn't come out of nowhere. It came from her mom, Tamiko Merriweather. Born on March 3, 1965 in Atlanta, Georgia, Tamiko moved to Dallas as a child and quickly made the city her home. From a young age, she had a nurturing spirit, which eventually led her to pursue a career in nursing. Tamiko specialized in neonatal care, dedicating over 20 years of her life to saving premature babies at Parkland Hospital. Imagine the strength it takes to work in such a high-stress environment where tiny lives depend on your skill and compassion. But Tamiko didn't just stop at being an excellent nurse. She was also a devoted mother to her 3 children, Marietta, Michael Jr., and Marcus. She poured her heart into raising them, teaching them the values of kindness, hard work, and faith. Of all her children, her relationship with Marietta was especially close. They weren't just mother and daughter, they were best friends. Tamiko was Marietta's biggest cheerleader and most trusted confidant. Whenever Marietta faced challenges, Tamiko was the first person she turned to for advice and comfort. They shared the same bond within the entire family. Marietta's younger brothers, Michael Jr. and Marcus, looked up to their big sister like she was a superhero. And in many ways, she was. With her accomplishments, Marietta set a shining example for them to follow. Meanwhile, their father, Michael Matthews, balanced his role as a businessman with being a loving and present dad. Together, the family faced life's ups and downs with resilience. Whether it was celebrating milestones or navigating tough times, they leaned on one another. And at the heart of it all was their mother, Tamiko, the glue that held them together. At this point, it seemed like Marietta had everything going for her: a loving family, a solid education, and ambitious goals. But life, as you know, has a way of throwing curveballs. And for Marietta, that curveball came in the form of Nathan Rashad James. Nathan entered Marietta's life in 2019. And the thing is, this guy wasn't someone her family would have chosen for her, but we'll get to that part later. For now, what's important to know is that Marietta's world, once filled with love, hope, and potential, was about to collide with Nathan's troubled and chaotic life. And unfortunately, the people closest to her, including her mother, would be dragged into this storm. By February 7th, 2021, Tomiko had grown increasingly worried about her daughter, Marietta. And no, she wasn't just a concerned mother. She was a mother who knew something wasn't right. Tomiko had been vocal right from the beginning about her disapproval of Nathan's relationship with her daughter. She saw him for what he truly was, a dangerous and unstable man. At just 24 years old, Nathan had a troubled history that deeply concerned Tomiko. He had been in and out of trouble his entire life, and we're talking about gang affiliations, arrests for robbery and assault, and a well-documented history of domestic violence. Tomiko knew about his controlling and abusive behavior toward Marietta. She'd seen the red flags and had even begged her daughter to leave this man. But like many victims of abuse, Marietta held on to hope. She believed Nathan could change. She thought he just needed love and understanding. But her mother, Tomiko, wasn't convinced. So, on that fateful day, she decided to visit Marietta at her apartment. Her plan wasn't just to check in on her. She wanted to have a serious conversation with her daughter, and this was her one last attempt to persuade her to leave Nathan for good. So, she packed a bag with some food and clothes, hoping to bring a little comfort to Marietta. But deep down, Tomiko was bracing for the worst. Meanwhile, Nathan was gradually spiraling out of control. His mental health was getting worse with each passing day. He had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder and schizophrenia. To make matters worse, Nathan was battling these demons without doing anything to help himself. Instead, he turned to drugs, violence, and manipulation to maintain control over Marietta. Nathan had grown increasingly paranoid and angry, especially at Tomiko. He saw her as a threat to his relationship because of her attempts to take Marietta away from him. In Nathan's warped mind, this wasn't just an ordinary family disagreement. It was a war, and Tomiko was the enemy. In the days leading up to February 7th, Nathan's behavior became even more erratic. He had been arguing with Marietta more frequently, and neighbors reported hearing loud shouting and banging coming from the apartment. Some of Marietta's friends had even urged her to leave, but she felt trapped. Nathan had a way of breaking her down, making her feel like she couldn't live without him. So, when Tomiko arrived at Marietta's apartment that fateful day, she had no idea what was waiting for her inside because she had no idea that Nathan had been targeting her. And when Tomiko stepped through the door, he unleashed his rage. He didn't even try to argue or anything like that. He just coldly pulled out his gun and opened fire at Tomiko without any warnings. In an instant, he killed the woman who had dedicated her life to saving others. The mother who only wanted to protect her daughter, just like that. But Nathan wasn't done. After killing Tomiko, he turned his attention to Marietta. She had been sleeping in the bedroom, completely unaware of the nightmare unfolding in her own home. Nathan woke her up and told her what he had just done. He didn't try to soften the blow or hide the truth. He wanted her to know. Marietta, understandably, was terrified. She begged for her life, but Nathan's mind was made up. In his twisted perspective, if he couldn't have her, no one could. So he opened fire at her as well, ending her life just a few feet away from where he had murdered her mother. Now, what makes this case even more chilling is what Nathan did after the murders. Instead of fleeing the scene or turning himself in to the authorities, he picked up his phone and started live streaming.
Oh my God, bro. Oh my God. Ah! 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 Crazy, dog. Crazy, dog. I'm sick. I'm sorry. Ah! I'm sorry. Ah! Ah! It's crazy, dog.
This live stream quickly went viral. Friends, family, and even strangers watched in horror as Nathan confessed to the murders. Shortly after the live stream, Nathan called 911 and admitted to killing both Tomiko and Marietta, but before officers arrived at the scene, Nathan barricaded inside the apartment and refused to come out. For hours, they tried to negotiate with Nathan, urging him to come out peacefully, but Nathan had other plans. As police surrounded the apartment, he fired one last shot, this time at himself. When the SWAT team finally entered, they found Nathan dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The bodies of Tomiko and Marietta were then discovered nearby, lying in pools of their own blood.
Those shootings happened right back here at the Summer Cove Apartments. Right now, neighbors still trying to figure out exactly what happened back here. It all started with a call about an active shooter and ended with SWAT surrounding an apartment at Summerwood Cove in northeast Dallas on Sunday.
There was like 3 gunshots I heard.
David Hart lives nearby and heard the chaos. The situation escalating after police say an unidentified man with a rifle fired shots at a patrol car. Hours later, police entered a unit finding 26-year-old Marietta Matthews and 55-year-old Tomiko Merriweather dead from bullet wounds. They say 24-year-old Nathan James apparently shot himself.
Tim, that standoff lasted for several hours and ended with 3 people dead, like you said, but those fatalities were actually not at the hands of police. There was a call about an active shooter at the apartment complex, and it's on Summerwood Circle in far northeast Dallas. Officers approached the apartment around 4:30 p.m. As they got closer, shots were fired from inside one of the units, hitting a police vehicle. That's when a SWAT team was brought in to take over. Those officers made it to the apartment around 7 that evening. Once inside, they found a man and 2 women dead inside from gunshots.
Following this horrific tragedy, the Dallas police immediately launched a full-scale investigation. Even though Nathan had taken his own life, there were still so many unanswered questions. So, officers began combing through the crime scene for clues. The gun Nathan used was collected as evidence, along with his phone and laptop. The chilling live stream broadcast he made after the murders was also reviewed in detail. Detectives worked tirelessly to piece together a timeline of events leading up to the murders. Witnesses were interviewed, including neighbors who reported hearing arguments from the apartment in the days before the killings.
She communicated to me. It was a couple lived on the first floor that he shot the girls. His girlfriend's mother shot her and shot herself.
The most telling piece of evidence, however, was Nathan's own social media accounts. His posts painted a disturbing picture of a man spiraling into paranoia and rage. In the weeks before the murders, Nathan had shared cryptic messages about betrayal, love, and loss, hints that his mental state was rapidly deteriorating. As the investigation unfolded, it became clear that Nathan's motives were a toxic mix of jealousy, anger, and revenge. He was obsessed with maintaining control over Marietta and couldn't bear the thought of losing her. When Tomiko stepped in to protect her daughter, Nathan saw her as the ultimate obstacle. Nathan's history of mental illness only added another layer of complexity to the case. Diagnosed with bipolar disorder and schizophrenia, he had refused consistent treatment, relying instead on substance use to numb his pain. While these diagnoses don't excuse his actions, they offer insight into the inner chaos going on within him that ultimately led to this tragedy. Investigators also discovered that Nathan had been juggling multiple relationships. He had a pregnant girlfriend who was completely unaware of his relationship with Marietta. This revelation painted a picture of a man who thrived on manipulation, keeping secrets, and maintaining control over every aspect of his life. The pressure of his double life, combined with his mental health struggles, likely contributed to his final fatal decision to destroy the lives of those 2 innocent women. Marietta's younger brothers, Michael Jr. and Marcus, are now left all alone to mourn this irreparable loss. They had not only lost their sister, but also their mother, 2 of the most important women in their lives. Friends described the brothers as struggling to comprehend the enormity of their loss, clinging to each other for comfort as they tried to move forward. As heartbreaking as this story is, it sparked important conversations about domestic violence and mental health. Organizations in the Dallas area began hosting events and workshops to raise awareness, using Tomiko and Marietta's story as a rallying cry to support victims of abuse. Their deaths also highlighted the importance of recognizing the warning signs of toxic relationships. Friends and family of victims were encouraged to intervene when they noticed red flags, while survivors of abuse were urged to seek help through hotlines, shelters, and support groups. What advice do you have for anyone in an abusive relationship right now? Feel free to share your thoughts with us in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more crime stories. Click on any of the cards on your screen right now to watch more of our videos.